steadfast. His mercy is everlasting. His love never changes. His word is enough. His grace is sufficient. His reign is righteous. And his yoke is easy. And his burden is light. I wish I could describe him to you.
For some good time now, we have been speaking of biblical salvation. Why do we continue on this subject, knowing very well that the church is actually having people that are already born again? The problem is not that the church has people that are saved, but the problem is that the people that are saved do not understand salvation. This is something that is constant. For some good time now, we have been speaking of biblical salvation. Why do we continue on this subject, knowing very well that the church is actually having people that are already born again? The problem is not that the church has people that are saved, but the problem is that the people that are saved do not understand salvation. This is something that is constantly making the faith community to lose credit with the outsiders. When I speak of the outsiders, I mean the people who still would love to get into the faith community but do not know how. And that is the reason for the last month or so we have diligently continued to ram it into your ears, that you will get to a point to understand what is biblical salvation. Well, as you have heard, some people think that salvation is acquired by the things we do. So we have rituals that men have put in place for an individual to know that he has attained salvation. Well, I will begin with a story. One day, two young men went to swim in the river. And being that the river was at that time full and the water was running like it wanted to swallow somebody. In my community, it is believed that after the rains, the river has to take with it a soul or two in order for it to cool down. So in this specific period, these two gentlemen went into the river when it was already full, just after the rains. And because they had a bet, I can swim to the other side. And if you can swim to the other side, then I can also do so. With this, both had a bet in their hearts. If I be the first to cross over, I will give you my goat. The other gentleman also said, well, if I be the first to cross on the other side, I will give you my goat. So the two young men jumped into the river and they started swimming. As they tried to cross, the water was so hard on them, the flow was heavy on them, that the water started to carry them down the stream. So as they realized that something is not wrong, one young man was a little bit stronger, so he was able to get to the middle of the river. But the water right in the middle of the river was still stronger than him. He also started going down the river. At this point, they began to shout for help. But because there was no one at that moment, their fears came alive in them. The stories that this river swallows people immediately after the rains came up alive in them. So the one that was closer to the riverbank started huddling himself so that he can be able to get a hold of the trees, the branches, and even grass that was by the riverbank, and they were all leaving him. So what does he do? He continues to fight until his strength could not take him anymore. With that in mind, the second brother in the middle of the river was also grappling with the pain and the ability to know that I have made a mistake. comes to him, and he is now also swallowing, drinking the water coming at him and hitting him on the rocks, while the other guy by the riverside, by the riverbanks, was also hit by the logs that were by the river, and they were almost losing their senses. At this time then, a group of men who were by the shore looked at the gentleman in the waters, and realizing that they have lost strength, came out so that they can help them. But in the process of helping, the two had already lost their consciousness. But the good news is they were saved from the water that was almost killing them. Why this story? By the time the two were put outside the water, all of them had nothing in their mind but life. Everyone knew that now the salvation that they have been given is just to justify them. And this justification brought them out of their mistake and pulled them to a place that they can now be taken back to life. Brother and sister, you would be asking yourself, why would a loving God look at a man who is a murderer, look at a man who is ignorant of the truth, and still come and save him when he deserves to be dead? Why would a God who has already said that let the man who kills die also by the same way he used to kill another, still come down on earth and save this specific person? I will ask myself, was Adolf Hitler having the grace to be saved? Yes, he does. Was the man who killed many in Congo having the ability to be saved? Yes, he had. But the problem is not that they did not have the opportunity to be saved. The problem could be that people looked at them and realized he is a king, he is a dictator. It is your mistake that made you to get into the river. You made your choice. Where was God when you made the choice to jump into the river? Men would ask, where was God when the boy jumped onto the road, right onto an oncoming car? God was there and he was watching. But then, why is it that another person dies but another lives? Why is it that another person is saved but the other dies without receiving this grace? Brother, the truth is, like the two gentlemen, they all jumped because it was their decision. Like Adam and Eve, it was their decision to eat of the fruit. And when they ate the fruit, it was not now upon anybody to come and tell them, you need to do this. When they were grappling with the pain, trying to come out alive, God came down and called out, Adam, where are you? Adam, where are you? And this is what the church ought to understand, that the people out there, God is constantly asking where they are. For all of us like sheep had fallen away. So nobody has the privilege to say that I am better. All of us like sheep had fallen away, and we had fallen short of the glory of God. And because of that, God stood up from his seat and came down. And he said, I am going to look for just one person who is lost. I thank God that I was lost, but now I am found. I thank God that right before my disappearance into oblivion, He came for me. I thank God that just at the moment that life was giving me the payback for the life I lived, He came and got me out. Right when I'd lost my senses, right when I'd known that now I'm not going to make it, He reached out His hands and got me. And that is where He justified me by first, not just by my faith, I will say, by His faith in me, that He gave me a chance to experience salvation. So this time round, it does not mean that I was good. It does not mean that I could have a counsel before God, like what happened to Job in the book of Job, chapter number 32, verse number 2. God is asking. God is asking something. Before God asked, the Bible says that Elihu, the son of Barachel, the Buzite, of the family of Ram, became indignant. His indignation was kindled and burned, and he became upset with Job because he justified himself rather than God, and even expressed doubt about God's character. Many of us, when we have found ourselves in the process that we have made wrong choices, and right now we are sinking into the sand, many of us, instead of letting go and letting God, we start grappling with excuses, pulling God into our mistakes and wanting to tell God, God, it is because of you. You did not tell me early. You did not get me out of this early. So I am here sinking. Many of us want to justify our mistakes. We want to find what to hold on so that we can be right and God be wrong. We want to say that preachers are wrong. That is why we did not believe. We want to say that pastors did not teach us the right doctrine. That's why we did not get it. We want to say that the prophet that came in my town prophesied a lie. That is why I did not believe. But in the process, I am still in the sinking sand. Thank God for Jesus, that when I was walking on the miry clay, He took me out of that miry clay and set my feet upon the rock. Like Job at that moment that he is in pain, and he is trying to look at God and ask, what did I do? Show me what I did. Brother, immediately you realize that your mind is telling you things are not okay with you. That is a specific moment. That is the exact moment you need to come out of it, wake up from slumber, and tell God, I am here, rescue me. I am here, rescue me. I am here, rescue me. When sickness and diseases has come and now it's holding you up, probably it is HIV/AIDS, and you're crying out, why did I go out? Why was I in this kind of life? Why did I have to live this kind of life that has made me have this? Probably it is because of cancer, and you need saving from that, because salvation simply means to be delivered out of, and you're feeling like, I am one to blame God for what is happening to me. Well, salvation is nothing to do with you, nothing to do with your situation, nothing to do with what you can be able to do, nothing to do with your human justification, but it's got everything to do with God Himself. And God sent His only begotten Son, so that anyone that can believe in Him, anybody that is going to believe in Him, now this person will be made to become His child. It has nothing to do with how long you have read and mastered the Bible. It has everything to do with God's mercy. It has nothing to do with how many days you stay and sleep in the church. It has everything to do with God's mercy. A man, having carried his own mattress and was seated at the pool for 38 years, could have already walked or even crawled to fall into the water. But because he tried to justify himself, God overlooked. He was not like this man Elihu. He was not like this man Elihu, who said he was kindled. He was angry because you have an opportunity, but you're busy looking for excuses. My brother and my sister, there's no excuse for you not to be saved. There's no excuse for you not to be brought back to God. He really wants to come and justify you right in the midst of your problems, right in the midst of your folly, right in the midst of the dust and the dung that you're sitting on. Jesus Christ came. He could have saved us right from heaven. He would have just sent his word. The centurion knew this very well, and he said, I am a leader. And when I say go, my people go. When I say come, my people come. Send but one word. Jesus Christ would have sent one word from heaven, but he became the word. And he came down when people were grappling with the idea of wanting to know who is more philosophical than the other, wanting to know who is more powerful than the other, wanting to know who is more gracious than the other, ending up to become people who are slothsome with their life, not understanding the truth, not knowing the strength and the greatness of God's salvation. But by his grace, we are saved by faith. Now he comes to me and looks at me, almost drowning in my sin. All of us were almost drowning in our sin. But like Elihu looked at me drowning in my sin, drowning in my problems, he came up and said, why do you justify yourself? This is what we came to do. We came to alert you. Don't justify yourself. Let God justify you. Let God get you out of there. Why trying to hold on branches that will fall away? Why try to hold on a religion that is actually not of God, a religion that is going just to take you away, and still you're dying? Why hold on a day of worship while Jesus Christ is the Lord of the Sabbath? He is the one who said, it is not in the day, it is not in the hour, but my people will worship me in truth and in spirit. Why fight so hard to keep just a denomination, standing on it, while God came and said, I want to get you from there. Come to me, all ye that are heavy laden, that I may give you rest. When this young man woke up from their situation, they were already resuscitated. They were already taken from the human level of life and had been made sons with God. So whether their decision had not changed, salvation had occurred. They were now not counted as drunkards no more, but counted as children of God. They needed a journey. So today I came to tell you, the reason you see preachers out there is so that in your situation you can be justified. Be taken out of the miry clay, put upon the rock. Upon the rock now you can walk. And at this moment, you will walk towards the end to be glorified when the Son of Man comes back in the last day. If you're feeling that you need to be saved, you have been grappling with life, grappling with salvation, grappling with sickness and disease, grappling with the marital issues, fighting at your workplace because you do not know whether to stay or go, and you just want saving from the situation you're in. I want to pray with you, brother and my sister. Repeat after me this prayer. Father, in the name of Jesus, I am tired of fighting alone. I'm tired of fighting with the flow of life. Please, God, just as you sent your Son Jesus Christ to die on the cross for me, now I believe that He is the Son of God. Save me. Make me your son. In Jesus' name I pray. If you have prayed this prayer with me, find a Bible-believing church with a sound doctrine. Be in a fellowship of true believers and walk the walk of faith. Know that the first thing you have done just to say yes, you have been made justified. You have been justified. It does not matter whether you were living in prostitution. Right now, you're not a prostitute, you were a child of God. It does not matter whether you got born again while you were drunk, you had just smoked your marijuana and you did not know what to do with it. You're still smelling of bang, but right now you're born again. You've been justified. So forget the surrounding and focus on the first step. If you wish to talk to us, there's some numbers that will be going down below the screen. Please, you can call them, ask, give your offering, support this show, and allow God to use you to be a blessing to another person. You'd want to talk to me directly. I am U.S. Apostle Charles Joseph. You can call me on +254 799 187 331. You can also email me on apostlecjministry@gmail.com. Probably you are around Nairobi and you want to visit with us in the church. You can come to Karen at Royal Health Club. We are the only church inside that beautiful club where it's a health club. A lot of things are happening there, but we have a church service every Sunday opposite Kenya School of Law. Do not miss out. We will be glad to host you again. God bless you.
His matchless, His goodness is limitless, His mercy is everlasting, His love never changes, His word is enough, His grace is sufficient, His reign is righteous, and His yoke is easy, and His burden is light. I wish I could describe Him to you.